the mail today. Even, oh, there comes the dog. Here she comes, she's a good girl. Wait, no. Get the basket. Get the basket over here. Yeah, that girl over here. Yeah, it's better. No, we're gonna make you behave a little better, even though she's awful good. Oh. If I hit a pill in here, I wonder if you'd find it. She finds the pill. She finds the Tums in her dinner. One more? There you go. That's it. All done.
I think she can smell them too.
What? The pill?
The Tums.
Could be.
They have a strong odor.
They do. Oh. Okay. Now, second problem. There they are. I wipe that every night with, it's got dog food in it, and I throw it in my scrap basket, and then I can't figure out why the puppies are getting in my scrap basket. One of those things. Okay. Are we ready? That was good, Megan. She's not here. I guess we shouldn't open it. I'm afraid. Will you be in charge of getting that Megan slot up there?
Mm-hmm.
I don't think she ever looks there, but what the hell? We'll get it where it belongs. We used to have a camera on that, a microphone on that camera.
Mm-hmm.
Do we?
Mm-hmm.
It still works?
Mm-hmm. I think so. If you turn it on, it does.
I don't turn it on. How do you turn it on?
I thought you turned it on.
No, I don't know how to turn it on. No, you have to go online somewhere to turn it on.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know how to do that anymore.
If you do that, I think it still works.
Okay. From Texas. And here we have Gerber baby food. Hopefully they're giving us they would never do that though. Our baby food saves dogs. No, they wouldn't do that. Brighter future for the child. We got this because somehow they thought that Noelle having a baby was, they picked that up online. They thought it was a people dog baby. Okay, well.
A people dog baby.
They,
Definitely.
after what, then. Well, then this is my favorite bill to pay. The dumpster. Where would we be without it? Oh my God. Can you imagine this place without a dumpster? Bad. That bill gets paid right away. Oh, please note, all accounts are net 30 days. Any customer's 30 days past due will be subject to account suspension. We better pay them double. We're not behind, but we're not going to be behind either, because that's very critical. We need to be suspended. Sometimes some of these places want to get rid of you. So we want to stay one of their favorites. Okay, we only have one more thing to do, and that's this one. I think it's an application. Feels like it.
You can let those guys out now. I just didn't want them to interrupt Bailey's basket getting.
Puppy, puppy, puppies, puppies.
Oh, they're so cute.
There they go. Hi, Puddles. They're Puddles. Like teenagers, we go to school. Yes, I know. Very pretty. Very pretty dogs. Very pretty. Very nice, pretty dogs.
Hi, Audrey. Hi, Viv.
How you doing? You want to feed them? Oh. Do you want to do that? You can do that.
Can you sit down? Can you sit?
Oh boys, it gets so complicated. This information has been disclosed to you from records protected by the federal confidentiality rules. Federal rules prohibit you from making any further disclosure of this information unless further disclosure is expressly permitted by written consent of the person to whom it pertains, or otherwise as permitted by 42 CFR Part 2. A general authorization for the release of medical or other information is not sufficient for this purpose. Federal rules, I wish they wouldn't send me stuff like this. I don't want it. I don't want it.
No, no jumping.
Copies of requested records are attached.
We used to call it burn before reading.
Yeah. Well, it gets complicated with its accreditation.
Yes.
They insist I have information that I don't understand, and I don't want it.
Right.
And I don't want it. They tell me if I burn it, it's not legal. You have to shred it or something. I don't know. They don't like to have it burned. It's ridiculous, the whole performance. I've met this guy. I know he's got a problem. I really don't care about all the rest of this stuff. I know. I don't really want to know all this shit. But it's very nice of him to have sent it to me. But we must put it under lock and key. Quickly. So I can't even put that in that drawer over there. Gotta go under the lock department. That's gonna get screwed up for sure. Oh boy. And furthermore, these are getting too thick.
No. Wait.
Okay, we're locked up. Next problem. Hi guys.
Okay.
That's all we got. That's all we have. We have questions? We have questions. Ugh. Uh-oh. Oh, that's a box of cookies.
Was it also cookies?
Ain't no rest for the weary. Ugh. Okay,
Question time?
question.
People are saying they should come out with dog flavored Tums.
Well, I bet you they do have calcium pills.
Hmm?
I bet they do have calcium pills for dogs.
Mm-hmm.
Costco sells them.
Not for dogs.
No. No, they're heavy sugar.
Huh?
They're heavy in sugar. They're coated in sugar.
No, what she's saying is have them liver flavored for
Right.
dogs.
Yeah. No, the Costco ones are strawberry, lime, lemon.
Yep, right.
They're saying sympathy for your ankle.
Sympathy, good. It's bad. It's not happy yet. No, what she's saying is have them liver flavored for dogs. I should have done that one.
Strawberry, lime, lemon.
I shouldn't have done that one. It's too loud. Okay.
People, someone said they received their poker chips today.
Oh, good. We are getting efficient. Uh-oh, don't chew on that. Hey, got that. That's a bad thing.
That's the deaf one.
Huh?
Deaf one.
Well, it could be a dead one because that's the electrical.
Can't go anywhere.
Oh, yes, it can. Pull the thing around in front of it. to block it off. There you go. They'll lose interest if they can't see it.
People are saying they hope the people from Leander, Texas can come to Dog Fest.
That'd be nice.
What's for dinner?
Lasagna. Of course, we already had it for a mid-afternoon snack. Some of us. We probably could turn it up a little bit.
Someone missed how did you hurt your ankle?
I fell down. I went boom. I went boom.
What were you doing?
Walking.
Oh.
You know my mental blocks down there.
Mhm.
They shed just a few stones out the back of them, so that where we had them laying, it's no longer smooth stone dust. Every once in a while there's a rock, and I just hit one and turned my ankle. So we got to get them picked up.
That's not fun.
Nothing? You go home now?
You want to tell a story?
Oh, I don't have a story. What have I got? Give me a topic.
A story about. Did you ever use cows in commercials?
Oh, yes. I use cows with. Just a minute. Dick Van Dyke's brother.
Okay.
Jerry Van Dyke,
Jerry.
maybe? Jerry?
Jerry.
Jerry Van Dyke. And I honestly don't know what they were doing, but I was to provide the cow in the studio down in Boston. So we to use a cow, you gotta shampoo it for a while. And you gotta get, the whiting and stuff and make it look pretty and stuff like that. And the woman helping me was the wife of the guy who owns a huge milk company in Boston. So she lived in a very fancy part of Marblehead, with the great long fingernails and all, but she was very practically oriented. So she was helping me that day with the cow. And there were a couple other people too, I've forgotten who. And she was in charge of because the cow, the statistic you need to know is that a cow needs 35 pounds of kitty litter per hour per cow if you're going to be on a flat surface, a hard rock surface. Because that's what comes out the back. And if you want to clean it up, you've got to have 35 pounds of kitty litter. So I sent her, somebody else went in with the cow. Maybe it was me. But at any rate, her job was to hold the bucket behind the cow just in case. So all the pictures we have of Jerry Van Dyke sitting there talking to the cow, and there's her behind there with the bucket. So she's ready, so it doesn't hit the ground if it starts. So we get all done, and I'm going back out with the cow, and she said, "You want the bad news?" We didn't have any trouble. We didn't want the bad news. I said, "What's the bad news?" She said, "The cow already went in the parking lot. It had backed up against somebody's fancy car, and it hit the window, and it hit the window, went down in, between the window and that was bad." So the rest of my crew, I couldn't figure out where they were. They were all out trying to clean up this car in the parking lot. It was pretty funny. We left. We loaded the cow in the trailer, left. They probably, to this day, don't know why there's a funny smell in that car.
That's pretty funny.
That's a funny story.
Which dogs are closest to becoming ready?
Ziggy? I don't know. I forgot their names, but it's the Ziggy bunch.
Mm-hmm. Ziggy and Emmett.
Ziggy Emmett, yeah. They're big.
They are.
And you know who was back today was Lars.
Mm-hmm.
I've forgotten the owner's name, but Lars was back. Nice guy. And they're working really well together. And he's now working with the VA. And I was talking to him and saying that we have had a couple guys that had come here for an interview, and they've really been great. We're interested. We think that we can do a good job with them and all that sort of thing. and they go away and they don't send an application in. They're all enthusiastic and they want a dog, and then they go away. And I think it's part of this PTSD bit that they just kind of mold into the woodwork, and they don't send the application. They got to be around here if they're going to get a dog. You don't send an application in and go away for a year and think you're going to. It doesn't work that way. You've got to be around here. We have to see how you move. We have to see how the dogs react to you. It just doesn't work the way.
People want it to. Sometimes.
Yeah, it's not. You're not buying a pair of shoes off the shelf. The dog's got to look you over, and if they don't like you, then that's the hell with it. That's just not going to work at all. So they have to be around here, and that's the problem. If they live in Missouri or something, but that's not our problem. So we have to define our own problem. That we want you here. We want you here not only for one day, but to volunteer, to hang around, to see how the dogs react, and those are the people that are going to get the dogs. So there.
How is the new tea tent coming?
The T10 is coming.
What are we calling that?
I don't know.
Someone did, Skip, came up with a pretty good idea. There could be some type of raffle, but not quite a raffle. Everyone puts in an idea to call the new tent, having to do with SDP.
Yeah?
Because every place has a name,
Oh, yeah.
so.
You can put a number on it. Like Building 29?
I don't know, because we have Deagle, Nut, T-Tent, Laundry,
Yeah.
Barn, Arena.
Garage. The Giraffe Garage. The Gigi.
People are calling it the G-Tent.
Yeah.
It doesn't quite flow.
Person at Dog Fest.
I don't know. The thing is, stuff like that happens around here. If you plan it, it just doesn't come out right.
Right.
If you just kind of let it hang for a while, it'll happen. Something will happen.
Tell us about the construction.
It's fine. The problem today, I did read the directions for a long time. I sat down there before we even started anything, and I read them, and you know, my memory isn't really the greatest and stuff like that, as some people think. But anyway, we're coming down the home stretch, and I'm looking over the equipment that we have left, and there's a half a bag of those self-tapping screws. I mean, there's a lot of them. There's hundreds and hundreds left. And I'm thinking, that's not normal. They wouldn't have given us those 100 tapping screws. They're nice screws. They're very good ones. So that's when I went over and I looked over the way the whole thing was going together, and I thought, gee, if I was to use those, I would use those where the two bars cross, where the rafter crosses the purlin deal. Somehow, I bet those are screwed together. So I went back and read the directions again, and yes, they are. So they're
That
going
wouldn't
back.
have been good if you didn't notice
No. Although Ryan said, "Oh, we don't need those," and he grabbed the whole thing and he did a chin up on, and it held. But it wouldn't have held 3 years from now with the wind blowing it, shaking, and all those nuts and bolts are going to get loose. But the self-tapping screws, they won't get loose. So that's why they had to be. But it was the fact that he had so many left over that, oh, wait a minute, this isn't right.
Tell us about the story of the wolf in the backseat of your Volkswagen Bug.
Oh dear, where are they getting that one from? That was a long time ago. Somebody in Ipswich called me and said it's the biggest goddamn dog they'd ever seen loose in Ipswich, and nobody could catch it or something like that. So I went down thinking it was a Great Dane, and I get down there and it's a wolf. It's a great big wolf, but it was a domesticated, if there is such a thing. It was one of these half-breds. The other half must have been some giant dog or another. It was big. It was big. He was a very happy dog. I mean, he was very happy to get in the back of my car, my Volkswagen Bug, and that filled up the whole back. Now I'm going to try and get in the driver's seat with this wolf behind me with the head hanging. But I did. I drove it back here, and I got a hold of the animal control guy, and we figured out who it belonged to, and he came up and claimed it. But it was a big dog. It was a big dog because it was fluffy. It was not, I don't know what the dog was, but there was all this hair. It was sort of Newfoundland wolf cross. It was a lot of. It was big. Filled back the Volkswagen. Here comes
Hi, Bailey.
the man of the hour.
Hello, bud.
Hello. Hello, Bailey. Oh, look at all the puppies. Oh, my.
Yeah, that's right. They heard you hadn't talked to them all day.
Oh, hi, puppies. Hello, puppies. Very nice puppies.
One time we were near Myopia, and I was in the car with my friend, and I saw this giant white fluffy thing, and I was
Really?
like, "Stop the car!" And we stopped and backed up because I was like, maybe it's a dog, and then we got
Really
closer,
dog.
and it was a giant wolf type thing.
I know who it was. You're over by Myopia. There's a guy. You're not supposed to cut grass or anything near water or here in Massachusetts, but you can have pasture.
I didn't get your name.
And there's a guy who has a couple hundred sheep
Rita, Rita. I know
that people rent to cut the grass and keep the brush down and everything, because sheep eat everything. And in that, they have two, I don't know what the hell they are, they're Hungarian something or other, great big white dogs.
It was beautiful. I mean,
Gorgeous dogs.
it looked
And
like-
they live
yeah.
with those sheep.
It looked way too nice to be a wolf from the
Well,
wild.
no, it wasn't a wolf. There are two dogs that belong to that guy that live with the sheep night and day, and they keep all the coyote stuff away and all that. And then when he wants to move the sheep, he's got a couple really well-trained border collies that he shuffles them all around, makes them move and go and get on the trucks and trailers. He goes out because very often they're in a place where there's no water, so he has to go out, 2 or 3 times a day. And he has a trailer that carries water around, and people hire him to come and cut back the brush, and it's legal. He makes a fortune with his dogs and his sheep. I've often thought, where is he? Ah. Those pups are having a great time with those laps that she made.
Did you all use the gift cards we sent this past winter?
I've used most all, yeah. There's a couple. There are a couple leftovers, and I kind of put in a pack, and I asked Teresa to get bacon, because she's the one that gets out around, she would use it. I got one that has some left on it, I don't know how much is left on it, not much. Other than that, they haven't used, I think.
Are there any puppies in the near future?
Who knows whether Mariah is with child? I'll have to try and work Mariah back into the house, and it's gonna be very difficult. Because I can't leave her overnight with Opal. She'd be fine with me in the room, but not, she can't be left alone. It's not fair to Opal.
Someone said the C tent for clear span tent.
No, I don't know. It'll name itself.
Area 51.
Area 51, there you go, that kind of thing.
Are you doing any yuppie puppy training with these guys?
I started to, and it's, is it under there?
No.
See, it's never there. And I can't move it myself out here. And it's, by the time I get it out here, I'm going to have to rest for a while.
Is there any VA participation or involvement when a dog chooses a veteran?
The VA is not involved, no. The one time when the VA is involved is after the dog is placed with the veteran. They will pick up the tab on all veterinarian food and coming back here to train or whatever. But the veteran has to apply for that. We have nothing to do with it. As long as we're accredited, they will do it, and we are accredited at the moment. She hasn't come by to reaccredit us yet. There is so much going on. If she's expecting us to be perfect, we're not. But it's a process. You cannot have everything done all the time. It just isn't going to happen, so we'll see what happens.
I have a question for you.
Yes.
How do you feel about state standardized testing?
Like in schools?
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm a product of the Regents exams in New York State. We had a choice. We had a choice at school. There was a school exam, and then a couple weeks later there was a Regents exam. And if you're gonna go to college, you took them. You didn't have to take them. The school exam was that made you graduate or not graduate. The Regents exam was what went in with your SATs, and that's what you went to college on. That was a choice, so. Mandatory testing?
100% mandatory. You have no choice.
Well, the students, if they got really mad, could just put X's on everything, couldn't they?
But
Yeah. No, I'm not sure
yeah, this year they make you take it all through middle school, and then they just made it a rule saying you have to pass this standardized test to graduate, but you've never had to until this year.
well, you want to be able to pass some tests
Yeah,
in order to graduate.
It's easy, but it's
Well, the Regents was not easy.
this MCAS.
Yeah, I know what you're saying.
Yeah,
What they're trying to do is make sure the school is doing its job in teaching or something.
yeah.
And some schools don't. Let's face it. So that certainly is a problem, and I can see where the state would like to check up on this. I've never objected to taking tests and things, so I mean, ever since I got a perfect score on my what was the IQ test. I don't have any problem with testing. Did you hear about that? You must have.
What?
The perfect score on my IQ test?
No.
You didn't hear about that? 3rd grade?
Perfect score?
Perfect score on my IQ test. Because when they handed them out, there was a slight delay, and I got to playing, and I looked, there were 2 sheets of paper, and I looked between to see where the X was supposed to go, so I didn't even read the questions, I just made the X's down.
Wow.
And the principal got involved, and my mother got called, and I didn't dare tell my mother I cheated on the IQ test. Or rather, I told her she didn't dare tell everybody that I cheated. So that's why I've always had could do better on my report cards.
Tell us about the puppy and the bird.
I don't think it was a bird.
Chicken? Chick?
No, that down here had a. Last night he had a piece of cardboard.
Who?
One of the Grays. Everybody was watching it. It was a piece of cardboard. It wasn't a bird. That's what they're talking about.
I've seen Mark's pictures of Thumper, I think, with the chicks.
Oh, Thumper with chickens on his head. Well,
Did he ever try and bite them?
No. Of course not.
I never met Thumper.
He was
Well,
afraid
none
of
of my
him.
dogs
He was
would have.
afraid of him.
I can do that with any of them.
He was actually timid of him. He jumped back.
Yeah, what the
Put a chicken
hell?
in front of him, he jumped back.
I'm chasing a guinea hen yesterday.
Well, some of them will.
Across the yard.
That was
Yeah.
an interesting camera shoot. I was here for that.
Yeah.
That was one of Mark's very first, if not his first, visit here with the camera.
See, that's the kind of thing I did for a living. Somebody wants to take a picture of chickens sitting on a dog's head, I do that. You just tell the dog, "Don't you move," and they sit there. Oh God! I put a chicken on her head. It would, she wouldn't do anything.
She likes the chickens at Chicken Bingo.
Yes, I know. You leave her alone. That's another story. But if I'm
Yeah.
riding on her head and saying, "Just don't you move," she'll move.
Carlene, do you know any tree trimmers?
Tree trimmers? They're those sons of my friend that lived on horse food. Smith. Their name is Smith. They're out in Essex, Rockport. What's that street that goes behind Wingasheek and up and around, back through and ends up in Essex? Ends up in Essex where the double-decker bus is or was.
I wouldn't go there.
Oh,
Connor Street or
oh.
any rate. They're
That
two.
street.
I mean, Concord Street goes over toward Winger Street, but then the other street comes out. I know what you mean.
Yeah,
I can't
yeah, I
think-
think it could be Concord Street. That's their name is Smith. And they used to live on Concord Street. That would be,
It's West Gloucester, actually.
is it really?
Yeah.
On that side of 128?
Yeah. Oh yeah, you don't get to Essex, the Essex town line until you get to that Red Barrel Pub place.
Huh. So Wingasheek is in Gloucester?
Yeah.
I didn't know that. Okay, so it's Gloucester.
It's loaded.
There's that white dog. What is that white dog?
Yeah. It didn't look like
A
a
poolie. Or something.
Kuvaz.
Yeah, all those deals.
He had like, I swear it was a wolf type thing. I swear, because he had
Yeah.
cropped ears, but they didn't. It didn't look cropped. It looked like a
Natural.
German Shepherd
Yeah.
type deal, and broader, long
Bro,
nose.
yeah. I don't know. That's the only big, huge dogs I know that would be running around the myopia area.
Did you use the $50 certificate for Farm Tech?
I have not used that yet. No.
How did the tea tent get its name?
It's the iced tea. We sit down there and drink iced tea. It's not the tea tent. It's the TEA tent.
Did you hear about one of the starlets eating a bird yesterday?
They did it. That's the cardboard episode.
I wasn't there.
Carlene,
I
do
watched
you
that
know any electricians?
Who?
Electricians.
Bud.
Do you have a bucket type thing?
What? Bucket truck? No.
Linemen, they use to
Oh.
have buckets lifts.
Oh yeah, yeah. You can rent those. That is an option. Yeah, I do know about that, but we've gotten there so far with just by scaffolding. The scaffolding is two stories high, so it's doing well. I mean, we can pass the rope over by hand.
Sure.
We've got enough ladders and things.
Right.
We may end up doing that, but it'd be nice to be able to throw it over like they do in the movies. We get the Mythbusters here.
Are Gabby and Simon still on Crazy Acre Farm?
Simon is. Where's Gabby?
Merlot. With Merlot. Lynn and Merlot.
Oh, okay, yep,
What's that? Set right on
Yeah.
you?
yes,
When will she be ready? After a year?
yeah. For a year.
Second heat-ish?
Yeah. A year and a bit. A little bit of stretch here till we get more puppies. I know that. These guys are almost beyond the cute stage.
They're like
almost
teenagers
obnoxious.
now.
Yeah.
They're becoming little
Adolescents.
teenagers.
I'm pretty sure when Gussie comes into heat again, she should be ready.
Really?
Yeah.
Who is Gussie?
Patrice. Dumbledore.
Dumbledore. Okay,
Because she's had one heat already, and she's a Stedman with Ziggy and Emmett.
okay,
She's over a year.
okay. Have to figure out what she's related to. I did the pedigree out. The way I'm used to looking at it. Oh dear, this could be a trouble. Oh, there we are. Ouch.
Stuck on Band-Aid.
Oops.
That's all right. We should Xerox it before we get into too much trouble, I suppose. You can hold this up, but the interesting part of this is that all these dogs that I have, these are the ones that these have all been my dogs all the way back. The ones that have nothing here, that's Walter, he's from Denmark. He's got a full pedigree. I just am not familiar with it. But all of these dogs on here that are here, I know. So there's Walter with nothing. There's Bobby, who's from Hungary. He's got nothing behind him. Thumper goes back to all our stock. To Mr. Adams, who was Canadian. And then there's a BMW bloodline in here. And things like that. And Deagle, who was the Netherlands. Belgium. And that's the bloodlines that we have, and so Drummond and Mariah are they're a good match. That's you can play with it if you like. There's a few times that Thumper is there, especially because he bred his daughter at one point, but that was not planned. Oh jeez. Oh, it went. There you go. Okay. And the BMW bloodline, I have back another 16 generations. Tiffany was our BMW bloodline.
Is there a copy of the pedigree chart anywhere?
Not yet. Well, it's all available on this crazy tree. Teresa was gonna do something about that.
Huh. Someone said if Gussie gets pregnant, those are gonna be some pretty exciting puppies. Gussie's a sweet dog.
Is she?
She's really sweet. She gets so excited. She
Who
has.
are we gonna breed her to?
I don't know.
Who's she
Let's
gonna-
look.
Let's look. Let us look.
So, Gussie's right here. Noelle and Bentley.
Yeah, everybody's related to Bentley, so that's out. So we have the dog coming from Netherlands.
So you're not gonna do Gussie?
Yeah, but the boy, we have Leroy.
Yeah.
He's only gotta get a little bit older and he'll manage, hopefully. And where, how related is he to,
Gromit and Gussie aren't related, really.
no?
Are
You're
Merlot
pretty
and
good because that's Walter.
yeah, is Merlot and Noelle sisters? Wow.
Noel is, no, that's wrong.
Noelle is Thumper Luna.
Well,
Okay,
nope, Merlot is not in that litter.
so where's Merlot? She was the wine.
Bobby Lily.
Bobby Lily said that's a pretty good deal. Bobby's over there.
I'm looking for Merlot.
Well, Bob, there it is, I can see it. That's Bobby's tree. There it is, down one more. Down, there you are.
There.
There you are.
That's a pretty good one. Gromit and Gussie.
Gromit and Gussie, yeah. What colors are they?
Gussie's a Harl, Gromit's like a whale type thing. Orcas.
Okay. Yeah, that's not a bad combination. Noel and Merlot will eventually get back to being related.
Really?
Well, sure, somehow, that's Lily.
Yeah.
Where's Noel again?
Noelle is right. Where'd she go? I just had her. Okay.
Oh,
Right
middle,
there.
dead center, okay.
Noelle.
Luna.
Oh, Noelle and who did you say? Merlot?
Yep.
Oh, yeah, Thumper is there with both of them.
He's not the father. Yes, he is the father of that one.
He's further back.
Thumper isn't the father of Merlot, though.
How about Lily? Where'd Lily come from?
Lily.
Thumper Tina.
Humpertina. Okay, so
There.
that's back. You're
Yeah.
getting back four
Yeah,
or five
you're going back
generations.
another generation, yeah.
And on top of that, you've got the other bloodlines. You
Yeah.
know, absolutely unique bloodlines with absolutely no connections. So that's not a bad deal. Okay.
You want to tape that back on here?
Maybe if we left it to Teresa, she would type it up or make it look pretty and send it out to everybody or something.
Well, we figured out one good combination for the day.
That'd be good, yeah. And heaven knows he seems to be good at it, or at least he seems to be good at the performance. We don't know whether he's gotten her pregnant yet or not, but
Have we heard anything about Jonah?
who's got that, I forget.
I don't
I don't know, he went off with somebody. Who did he go off with? I can't think.
Jonah's big.
Yeah, he's tall.
I've seen him. He's been back. He's huge. No, I've seen him, I just can't remember. Doing all right, or I would've.
Why are you looking for a bucket? Everyone's calling about buckets.
Bucket, what did I say bucket?
For like a tractor bucket or something.
You're thinking of bucket truck or some kind of a man lift or something, is what you're referring to, for putting a cover on the tent, I believe, that's what everybody's talking about here. Somebody asked about an electrician, because they were thinking
That's right.
bucket truck.
I don't think you need one.
How many dogs do you have breeding at this moment?
You only get the one. How many breeding dogs we have at the moment? That's a different story.
Now?
You gotta count them.
Nice.
Oh,
nice.
we have a flood. Pretty cute. Is it walking around in a puddle?
She loves water buckets.
She's like, I thought the floor needed some cleaning.
She did that before, didn't she?
Mm-hmm. In
A bucket.
on Puppy Hill, she wanted to.
Get in the bucket.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, you're a little wet.
What happened to our little white stickers? We had white stickers.
We're gonna disappear from.
You're disappearing.
Yeah,
Are you going for good? Are you coming back tomorrow or what?
Tomorrow with family.
Thursday.
You'll be back here Thursday?
Thursday, Friday,
Wonderful.
Saturday, Sunday, sorry.
We'll see you then.
okay?
Have a good night.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
We have 1, 2.
That's the boy one. Tony.
Yeah.
Okay.
Breeding in general or
Okay,
just
breeding-
females?
No, breeding in general. Go ahead.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 9, and then Leroy 10.
Yeah. Why aren't we better organized?
Walter 11. We need a sticker on Walter. But and are you gonna use a female from the Dutchies as a breeder?
From who?
Dutchies.
The Dutchies. Wait, I don't know. We lost one, so I don't know what we're doing there.
So 11.
11.
Will you be nice?
11, and we only have one in heat, right at the, that came in heat in the last 3 months, right?
Mm-hmm.
So they're all due. Life should get very exciting pretty soon.
Are you very interested in this or something? What? Do you like this? Do you like it? She just smashed her face into it.
Hello. Hello.
Hello. Do you know who that is?
No, that's Sylvia?
Uh,
Victoria.
nope. Victoria's black.
What's
So
that?
close.
Vicky.
You meant a V though.
Vivian.
Vivian. I got the V.
Right.
No. Puppy's like getting into everything.
There she goes. They're off and running.
She's quick.
She says, "Put me in a harness. I want to be in a harness."
That should be down the barn.
Yeah, that's the nice one. So.
I know, it is. They
She's
used to
coming
hang
back
up.
for more.
It used to hang up, and when we were cleaning, somebody decided we'd put it in the bucket and get it to the barn. That didn't work. It needs to go hanging back up.
Just like away from.
To get it to the
any-
barn, it's gotta
Okay.
go to the barn.
I will take it with me on the way.
That would be good. Because otherwise it's gonna get chewed up.
She's quick.
She is quick, she's quick, and pretty little doggies. We have pretty little doggies, pretty little doggies, pretty little doggies, pretty little doggies. All up on top of the thing. Be very pretty, very, very, very pretty.
That's Merle.
Hello, and you're pretty dog too.
She's the one that likes to spill water.
Okay, we're done now?
Is Gromit called a piebald?
Who?
Gromit, orca.
He's very much like a piebald, yes.
What's like?
A piebald is the spots are more like blankets than they are spots.
Yeah. All right.
That's it?
Bye.
I'll move the camera.
Sure,
Do you wanna do the sound?
I'll do the sound. I'll turn the sound off. Are we ready? Set,
Kelly, you're
go.
on camera.